Hello, my friends. My name is Beth York, and welcome to this segment of our financial wellness series with certified financial planner Stephen Hurwitz. Today's topic is long-term care insurance. We will discuss a real-life experience with long-term care and also why it's very important to have a plan. Tell us your story, Stephen.
Hi, Beth. Thank you so much for the opportunity. When I was a child, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and back in those days, both my grandmother and my other grandmother, my father's mother and my mother's mother, ended up with Alzheimer's disease, and they ended up in the Jewish Home for the Aged in Pittsburgh. And back in those days, there wasn't insurance to pay for home care or nursing home care, so basically people ended up just depleting their assets and pledging their Social Security and going into a nursing home. And that was the way that their life played out. When I got into the business over 30 years ago and long-term care insurance first came around, I thought, what a wonderful idea for my mother and father. Just based on our family history, it appeared that could take place at some point in their life. And thank God they decided to go forward and get a long-term care policy. Well, the way life played out, both my mother and father ended up with dementia, and my father also ended up with Parkinson's disease. I took care of my father for over 30 years, and he went from home care to assisted living and finally into a nursing home. His policy paid out for 17 years. In my mother's case, she ended up with dementia, and she spent 11 years at home, and that policy paid out for 11 years. I can only say that the policies that they had were the most wonderful thing that they ever did. It just completely changed our life. It put us in a position where instead of having to worry about going on welfare or borrowing money, that we were able to take care of my mother and father in a first-class way.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Stephen. Now, why is it so important for people to have a plan?
There's two reasons, Beth. One is a financial reason. So financially speaking, you want to protect your retirement assets. At the end of the day, if you say, I'm not interested in having a long-term care policy, you're basically saying, my life savings is my long-term care policy. The problem with that is you can no longer afford to spend your money and enjoy it in retirement because you have to save it for an event that may or may not ever happen. Secondly, most middle-class people can't afford to self-insure a $6,000 a month bill. So at the end of the day, if one spouse gets sick and eats up all the money, what's the surviving spouse going to live on? So there are a lot of big financial reasons that you want to protect those retirement assets. And secondly, just having a plan makes a big difference. When people need long-term care, it's not a walk in the park. They're not feeling like I've got a grip on this thing, I can act on it, I know how to set and organize everything. And also they don't want to depend on their children. So when you have a policy or a plan, you have a person that's an insurance agent and a company that can pay the bills. So you're not there alone. You can actually function independently because you do have a long-term care plan. And those are the two primary reasons that you want to have a plan.
Absolutely. Thank you for the very helpful information. Now, we would love to connect with you. Please click on the link in the video description below to schedule a complimentary quote session to discuss your needs, your budget, and to receive premium quotes.